Who called the babysitter when no one ever hired one? That was the question that started everything. The night began like any other quiet, ordinary, unremarkable. A young couple, Ethan and Mara, had just moved into a small house on the edge of town. It wasn't new, but it had charm old wooden floors that creaked like whispers, a garden that seemed to breathe in the night air, and windows that reflected the moonlight just a little too clearly. They had a 6-year-old daughter named Leela, who was bright, curious, and a little afraid of the dark. On that Friday night, Ethan was supposed to work late, and Mara planned to visit her sister. They didn't need a babysitter. Leela was fast asleep, tucked under a blanket with her favorite toy rabbit. Everything felt calm. Then came the knock. 3 soft, deliberate taps on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Mara frowned. She wasn't expecting anyone. She checked her phone, no messages. Another knock, a little louder this time. When she peeked through the peephole, a woman stood there. Her smile was gentle. She wore a long gray coat and held a small overnight bag. "You can go now," she said softly through the door. "I'll watch her." Mara froze. "Excuse me." The woman tilted her head slightly, as if confused by the question. "You called me," she said. "The babysitter." The hallway light flickered once, then steadied. Mara's heart began to race. She hadn't called anyone, but something about the woman's tone, so calm, so certain, made her hesitate. "I think you have the wrong house," she said. The woman smiled again, just a little wider this time. "No," she whispered. "I have the right one." Mara backed away from the door. She turned off the porch light and went to call Ethan, but the moment she lifted her phone, she saw a text. "The babysitter's here. You can go," sent from her number. Her fingers trembled. She stared at the message, then looked back at the door. The woman was gone. The porch was empty. The night, silent, trying to calm down. Mara checked on Leela, still asleep, breathing softly, clutching her rabbit. She kissed her forehead and whispered, "Good night, baby." Then, as she turned to leave, a soft hum floated through the room, a melody, familiar, but off-key. It wasn't coming from the baby monitor, it was coming from the closet. The sound stopped the second she reached for the handle. The door creaked open slowly, nothing inside but clothes, shadows, and the faint scent of lavender. Mara closed it, whispered to herself that she was just tired, and went downstairs to make tea. But when she poured the water, the hum returned, this time from the baby monitor. The same song, the same slow, haunting rhythm. And behind it, the faintest sound of someone breathing. "Leela." She whispered into the monitor. No answer, just breathing. She ran upstairs, heart pounding. The room was empty, Leela's bed empty. The closet door open, the window closed, but covered in fog from the inside. On the fog, drawn with a single finger, were the words, "She's safe." Then, suddenly, the hum again. From downstairs, Mara ran, shouting Leela's name, but halfway down the stairs she stopped. The woman from the porch was sitting on the couch, calmly reading a storybook aloud. "Once upon a time," she said, "there was a little girl who never slept alone." Mara froze. "Where's my daughter?" she whispered. The woman looked up slowly, her smile gone. "You shouldn't have left," she said softly. "Not again." What do you mean again?" The woman tilted her head, eyes full of something sorrowful. "It's not your first night here," she said. "It never is." The lights flickered, the hum began again, low and echoing, filling the room with a vibration that made Mara's teeth ache. When the light steadied, the woman was gone. The storybook lay open on the couch. On its pages was a drawing, a house, perfectly resembling theirs. In the window, a shadow of a woman watching a sleeping child. Mara turned slowly, looking toward the stairs, and saw Leela standing there, holding the same book. "Mommy," she whispered. "She says you always forget." Ethan came home hours later. The house was dark, the tea kettle cold. Mara and Leela were asleep on the couch, the storybook open between them. Everything looked peaceful. But when Ethan checked the security footage later that night, the timestamp glitched. Between 9 o'clock and midnight, the video flickered and froze, showing the front door opening on its own. No one entered. The porch light turned off by itself. And at 11:47 p.m., a figure appeared for exactly one frame, just a shadow of a woman standing in the doorway, holding a small bag. The next morning, Mara woke to find a note on the kitchen table, written in her own handwriting. "The babysitter's coming tonight. Don't forget to thank her this time." And from the baby monitor upstairs came that same soft hum. "So tell me if no one hired her, and no one ever saw her leave. Who keeps watching over the house every night?" Because somewhere, behind the sound of breathing and the hum of static, someone always answers when you whisper, "Who's there?" And if you listen long enough, she hums back, "Thank you for watching." If you love dark, psychological horror stories that twist reality and haunt your mind long after they end, subscribe now and turn on the bell before the next visitor arrives.